Last week, I was talking to my friend Jason, and we were sharing a cigar and talking about different roads we'd been down and roads we wanted to go down. And he invited me to meet his friend George. He and George are getting ready to start down a narrow road of their own. And I wanted you to hear about it. And who knows, maybe some of your roads join up with some of theirs. So this is going to be great. It's a perfect weather ride, so let's go. Okay, perfect ride this morning. I want to introduce you to two people. This is my friend Jason. Wave, Jason.
Hello.
Okay, and my new friend George. They have turned down a narrow road, and I want to find out why and what they project, what gave them the courage to turn down this road, and what do they think is down there anyway?
Hey, that's a great question. Good to be with you and hanging out with my good friend Jason here. And I know individually we've turned down a lot of narrow roads over the years. Collectively, we've walked a lot of narrow roads over the years, and just through some conversations really over the last year or two, God kind of showed us that, hey, there's a narrow road I want you two guys to go down together. And it's really about authentic community for men. Developing true authentic community, having your tribe of brothers that you can go to at any time, that you can develop deep conversations, do life with, make that 3 o'clock in the morning phone call to if you need, and they're going to answer, and they're going to get in the car and come running before you even tell them why. So that's a little bit, it's called the Good Fight Collective, and there's several things we do, but that's a little bit of the narrow road we've turned down into. We didn't expect to do a men's ministry, but instead of just sitting around talking about somebody needs to do this, somebody needs to happen, then God looked at both of us and said, y'all go do that. And so that's the narrow road we're on, the Good Fight Collective.
Yeah, George and I met a long time ago, and for me in my journey in ministry, I've been in ministry almost 30 years. This guy's been a part of that story in so many different ways, and I've been wrestling with that question that Greg that you asked. I've been in a season where my road was changing and I didn't know where it was going, and God made it very clear that part of this season for me, this journey, was to partner up with my brother here, and let's go do the thing that in some form or fashion we've been trying to do for a long time.
You were going through a tough season.
Yeah.
And coming into this, so tell me about that.
Yeah, so some things didn't work out the way I was hoping, and processing that, asking God what's next, and trying to trust Him in the midst of some unknown, and a lot of frustration, frankly, and just dealing with some heartbreak and some healing. One of the guys I talk to all the time was this guy right here, and has been a steady rock for me, and a friend, and a voice of wisdom and challenge and encouragement. And for me to fight the good fight in this season required not just myself, it's required my men's group, it's required my brothers, it's required friends, for me to even to push forward and ask God, what are you doing, and where is this going? And it just became obvious to me, for me personally, navigating life is not a one-man sport, and no man is an island. Like, you need to have your brothers with you. And I think so many guys get stuck in that. Like, we fight our battles alone, or we think we're the only one dealing with things. And when you can kind of let go and live open-handed, invite your brothers into life, it just gives you so much more freedom, and you find purpose, and you begin to kind of move on in faith, and God uses that in incredible ways.
I'll sit there and even talk a little bit from the standpoint of Jesus as our model. I mean, he chose 12, but he still had even an inner 3. So, I mean, that model's been a part of my life, thankfully growing up in a Christian home a long time. So walking the years with some mentors, I've always been taught to have a couple people you can look up to and that you can ask questions to, and then have a couple people that you're helping along the way, and have a band of brothers around you that you're encouraging each other to do the same thing. So along the way, you know, this guy played high school football when I was the high school football coach.
Here we go.
So we've known each other a while, because that's been a long time ago. One of the reasons we turned down this road is because my men's small group a couple years ago says we want to go off to a retreat, but we want to go as a small group, and we want to grow as a small group together, learning and getting to know each other. And we looked around and we tried to find that, and there wasn't. There was lots of retreats we could go to that had maybe 500, 1,000 plus men, but it was geared more individually. So we turned down the road of going, let's don't complain about it, let's create it.
Yep.
So that's one of the things with the Good Fight Collective that we're going to do is offer retreats. We've got some coming up in early 2026. We've got retreats coming up where you come off with your band of brothers and you get to grow together, closer with the Lord, closer with each other, so that you can literally fight the good fight of faith, because a weekend together, as they say a lot of times, is worth a year's worth of group meetings. Women are pretty good at this. They get together, they talk, they just have a great time, and they're going to share everything. Guys, we're like, what's up? Yeah, everything's cool.
Good.
Yeah, good. How you doing? Good. Yeah.
So for us, part of this road is how do we help churches get men involved and connected? Because if you look at the data, the last even 2 decades, men's involvement in church has decreased. Thankfully, it looks like it's starting to get better. But back in the day, we did a bunch of retreats together through different Christian schools or organizations, and it's funny to think about now how full circle it's come. So to answer your question, Greg, I think it's amazing. The road that I'm on now was not a road I planned, but it's obvious to me that God has been paving that for decades, and I didn't see it at the time. But now, sitting on this road, it's like, okay, God, I get it. I didn't get it then, but now I see that you were doing a long time ago. You were putting the bricks in the road. From
to that point, talking about roads, I mean, I'm at the point, and I look at my road, first 30 years, most men are just trying to figure out who they are, trying to get themselves educated, trying to learn a trade. In the next 30 years, you're trying to make a living, trying to establish yourself. And I'm not afraid to say I'm 61. So I'm in that last 30 years. It's that open-handed part now. The road I've turned down is going, okay, Lord, the answer is yes. What's the question? Our answer is yes. Hey, give us a call. We'll listen. We're not sitting here, here's the 10 steps you need to do, because everybody is wired different. God wires us all a little bit different, but he wires us all for him, and he wires us all for community. And that's what we want to help you figure that out along your journey. Yeah. So we're open-handed. Like I said, we're not going to give you, here's a 12-step process. We're going to listen, try to listen to your goals and where you're trying to get with your men's group, and then help you with the experience that we've had individually as well as collectively in the years of ministry that we've done.
What if you're a guy who's watching a YouTube video who is not really involved with a lot of other guys and doesn't know how to make those relationships happen? What's his next step?
It's a great question. I think there's a bunch of different answers to that. One thing is to begin, if that's a desire of your heart, which is awesome. I think that's God gave you that. God did not, again, put you here to do this thing alone. Is to begin to, one, pray regularly. Like, God, would you put people in my life that I can do this thing with? 2, sometimes it takes that initial phone call, text message, reach out, find some people with common interests. If you like football and you like to watch football, invite some guys over to watch football. If you like to play pickleball, go play pickleball. If you like to ride motorcycles, whatever that is, like, hey, there's people in your sphere of influence potentially who might feel the same way you do. What I've realized is sometimes it just takes that initiation. Hey, do you want to hang out? Do you want to be like, hey, I'm looking for people to connect with, to talk about life and faith. Would you be willing to take that step with me? And that initial phone call is always awkward. There's always that weirdness because as guys, we feel weird because it's almost like you're asking for help. But I think most guys who take that step never regret it. And they look back and realize there's a whole bunch of people like me who are looking for the same thing. And maybe if I could just begin to like look and put the feelers out there, maybe God has a plan to put some people in my life, band of brothers, to be able to do this thing with. So it's not always that easy, but I think sometimes it just takes, taking time to pray about it and then taking those prayers and putting it into action. But
if you've got a good, strong group, well, your next step may be to, hey, where do we go foster this with and pull in a couple other guys, a couple of guys that are searching. I mean, if you're at a church, hey, how do we go there and help other guys' groups form? And again, we can help you with that. But if you're searching, Jason gave you the perfect scenario. But I want to challenge you, if you're in a group and have a good sphere of guys, don't just sit there and be all closed. Look and see how you can take that sphere of influence and draw in some other persons. You'll change their lives.
We've said a bunch, and Greg, you and I talked about this recently, but George and I have both been involved in things for a long time, but we're really, one of our regular prayers is we want our windshield to be bigger than our rearview mirror.
What's that mean?
Meaning that we believe this road is far from over. In many ways, it's just getting started. And so, although we have a pretty rich history to look back on of the journey behind, like we don't want to just rest and tell stories about what we did or what we've been a part of, or by God's grace, what He's allowed us to do. We just believe and trust there's some cool things ahead.
So I'm riding away from talking with those guys, and I'm really struck by how sincere, how prepared, and how passionate these guys are about reaching men and teaching them not to be so isolated. Because let's face it, guys, we're probably more isolated now than we've ever been in history, maybe in some ways. It's just easier, and it's not good. We're not made to do that. So if that's you out there, please get in touch with him. And if you know a guy who is on the sidelines, reach out to them. That's what we mean when we say, when you pass somebody, wave. We mean do a little more than wave. Just let somebody else know you see them. Let somebody else know you care. That's what we want to do, because that's what we do, right? Hey, hit like and subscribe. I love it that you've been on this ride with me today, and I hope you join me again soon. So ride safe out there, and as always, wave at somebody as you pass, because that's what we do.
Well, they can definitely reach out to us, and we'd be glad to talk to anybody at any time to help them there. I mean, goodfightcollective.org is the website, and all of our contact information is on there.
Good plug.